Have you ever noticed how many times you've promised yourself, "This time will be different"? A fresh Monday, a brand new notebook, a quiet promise made when no one else is around. For a few days, everything feels possible. And then, somewhere around day 4, something changes. You lose momentum. You feel distracted. Suddenly you're too busy. The excitement disappears. Most people call that a lack of discipline. But that's not what's happening. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Here's what almost nobody tells you about change. Change isn't a straight line. It's a negotiation between two versions of you. The person you're trying to become, and the person who's afraid of letting go of the identity that has kept you safe for years. Think about the last habit you tried to build. Maybe waking up earlier, going to the gym, speaking up when you usually stayed quiet, or simply saying no without feeling guilty. At first, it feels exciting. Then, a strange resistance shows up. You feel tired for no obvious reason. You procrastinate. You start making excuses that sounded ridiculous just a week ago. That's not laziness. It's your brain treating unfamiliar behavior as a potential threat. Every action you repeat becomes evidence of who you are, and your brain craves certainty. Even uncomfortable certainty feels safer than unfamiliar growth. So, when you begin acting differently, a quiet question appears in the background. If I'm not the person I've always been, then who am I? That's why change feels uncomfortable. Not because you're broken, because you're wired for consistency. Your brain was never built to make you happy. It was built to keep you alive. For most of human history, predictable meant safe. The familiar cave, the familiar tribe, the familiar routine. So when your life starts changing too quickly, your nervous system doesn't immediately see growth. It sees uncertainty. And uncertainty feels like danger. This is why willpower alone rarely works. Willpower is temporary. Biology is persistent. And biology usually wins the first few rounds. But here's the good news. Your brain is also designed to adapt. Every time you repeat a behavior, tiny connections between your neurons become stronger. Psychologists call this long-term potentiation. Think of your mind like a forest. The very first time you walk through it, there's no path, only thick grass and resistance. Every step feels difficult. But each time you walk that same route again, the trail becomes a little clearer, a little easier. Eventually, you stop forcing yourself to find the path. Your brain finds it automatically. That's how identity is built. Not in one dramatic moment, but through hundreds of quiet repetitions. And here's something most people completely miss. It's not time that changes you. It's consistent action while you're slightly uncomfortable. That's the secret. So instead of chasing motivation, start building identity. Don't focus on waking up early. Focus on becoming someone who keeps promises to themselves. Don't aim for a perfect workout. Become someone who always shows up, even if it's only for 5 minutes. Lower the bar until your brain stops resisting. Read 1 page. Do 1 push-up. Write 1 sentence. Small actions feel insignificant. But your brain doesn't measure size. It measures consistency. Instead of tracking streaks, start collecting evidence. Every night, ask yourself, what did I do today that proves I'm becoming the person I want to be? That single question slowly rewrites the story you believe about yourself. And when motivation disappears around the first week, don't panic. That's normal. Novelty fades. Dopamine settles. This isn't failure. It's simply the moment where discipline quietly takes over. And if you miss a day, don't treat it like starting over. Neural pathways don't disappear overnight. The trail is still there. You simply walk it again. Picture that forest one last time. Some days you'll walk confidently. Some days you'll barely take a few steps. But every step reminds your brain, this is who I am now. The famous 21-day rule was never really about the number. It was about giving your brain enough evidence to stop seeing change as danger. You don't become unstoppable by forcing yourself. You become unstoppable when the new path finally feels familiar. And somewhere between doubt and discipline, the path quietly becomes the person.